All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lit in English. And this is actually part 4 of the Night Tired People. And thank you for joining us today. And today I am super excited to share with you one of the most important of the 9 types of people. And this is greatly related to what we discussed the previous week. So before we continue with today's presentation, I would like to do a quick uh, review of what we did last week. So once again, thank you for joining us today. All right. Okay, so in the past 3 weeks, we went over the 9 types of people, and we share the importance of these 9 types of people, which are the wise person, the noble person, the well-connected person, a blessed person, a talented person, the great master, the expert, the teacher, and the enlightened teacher. Each of these people play a very important roles in our life. Um, you would be very, very blessed to have these 9 people in your life. And by studying this, by learning this, we can start to recognize these 9 type of people in our life, and we can also attract them. And by having them assisting us in our life, things will be easier, simpler, and we will experience life in a very, very special way. For example, everybody need a wise person in their life to give them a concept, a lesson, or an understanding from which our perception rises above any arising problem. And then we have the noble person, which is someone who will help us in some aspect for a period of our life. And then there's a well-connected person, which is a person have a social relationship. A well-connected person is the owner of a network of credible and quality relationship, the one with the influential voice. And by having them connect us to the right people, anything we wanted to do seemed to be much easier. And then we have a very special type of person, which is a blessed person, right? They might not look like they do anything when they are around you, but when they happen to spend time with you, everything seemed to work out. Everything seemed to turn out the way that you wishes to turn out. And then if there is any big project that we wanted to do, there are talented people who help us materialize our vision, just like what Bill Gates said, right? Even though Microsoft is a very big company, there are only about 20 talented people who help operate the entire company. And then we have the great master, which is who is the one that can help us realize our dream, someone who accept to nurture us and journey together with us, a fellow journeyer in materializing our dream. And then we also have the expert, whatever complex matter we might see or we might encounter in our life, the expert can simplify it for us. And then we have a teacher who is playing a very important role in all 3 areas, which are production, business, and education. An example for this would be Steve Jobs from Apple. He was very good at producing the products. He was very good at running the business, and most importantly, he educated his customer so that they would know how to utilize the products and services that Apple offer. And last but not least, we have the enlightened teacher, who are the people that help elevate our understanding to a higher dimension. So today we are going to discuss the great master. And there is a big relationship between the great master and the talented person. And just a quick review of what a talented person is. A talented person is the person who help us in our journey of materializing our dream, our project. And there are 8 characters of a talented person, and those are commitment to learn, courage to admit mistake, courage to change, contribution, persistence, gratitude, humility, and effort. All right. So why is there a huge relationship between a talented person and a great master? All right. So the relationship between the talented person and a great master is that the talented person needs someone to guide them, someone who can help them cultivate 8 of these character, these 8 very important attribution. And this is where a great master come in. A great master defined by um, their ability to encompassing our dream. The great master have wisdom, mindset, virtue, character, and capability. And they also have a life status that distinctly different and separately from many, many other. And most importantly, the great master agreed to nurture us and journey together with us, a fellow journeyer, right? So a talented person would need to look for a great master, because a great master will help nurture them and agree to be a fellow journeyer to help talented person realize their dream. And the great master has already materialized. They has already um, realized their dream. And because of that, the talented person would need that guidance. And there's a commonality between the talented person and the great master, in the sense that both of them need to aim toward the house of the 7 holistic wealth. So you can imagine that the great master have been through the journey. He would have years of experience in cultivate these 7 holistic wealth. And then a talented person would come along the way to learn, to join the journey with the great master. Another way to simplify this, to have an easier understanding of the relationship between a talented person and the great master, is that we want to be a great master to our children. We want to help our children cultivate these 8 characteristic of a talented person, as we have discussed in the previous week, right? We want to be able to guide our children. We want to be able to help them realize their dream, no matter how big or small that is. For example, you would help to nurture your children, help them take care of themselves, right? Help them learn how to walk, how to read, and there are many, many things that our children would dream to have, and we are there to support them, to help them. So that is the most basic foundation of the relationship between a talented person and a great master. And in this journey, our hope is that we have a great understanding of the seven holistic wealth and how to cultivating them. And by doing that, it is now possible for us to help many other to realize the same thing and to connect this knowledge with the happiness studies. We can see it as simple as us of how we are lucky enough to learn happiness study before many others. And with the understanding of happiness studies, we can help other our talented people to understand that as well. And this is the reason we name Lit in English Season 6, Understanding Your Inner Self, Lit Up a Path to Happiness as Whole Being. So whole being in this sense is very much similar with the seven holistic wealth. So, all right. So let's get to the presentation of the great master. So beside the understanding and the willingness to nurture the talented people on their eight characteristic and their seven holistic wealth, there's also one area that I would like to introduce to you today that can help you become a great master to many other people, right? And this is extremely important that we discuss that today. So, and um, this is called the seven magnitudes of life. And it is important that we learn this because in definition, a great master not only has the seven holistic wealth, they also have the lifestyle of magnitude of life that are very unique, very different compared to many other. In short, the magnitudes of life that they are having uh, are like dream to many others out there, and it is important for us to have a clear understanding of these seven magnitude of life. So if you have a pen and paper, um, please join me in writing down these seven magnitude magnitude of life. Of life. Okay. So the first magnitude of life that I would like to discuss today is the first one, which is the one that most people are familiar with, and that is go to work plus salary, or you can call this income. That's fine too. And that would be equal a J O B. Right. So in my life and in many other people's lives, we were taught that if we can just do well in school, uh, choose a good career, and then find a good job, then we can make good money, and that's pretty much it. You can have a very happy life. That's what we are told, and that is the path that most people are on, right? Especially for Asian American. Our parents often tell us to just get a good job, just be a doctor, be a lawyer, or be an engineer, right? Make that good money, make that salary, then you are all set. And this is where most people are. Unfortunately, life is a lot more than just finding a job and making money, right? Especially in happiness study, we've learned that there are 5 areas in life that has absolutely nothing to do with making money, but it can help us reach to happiness as whole being. So that is something that we can get to later on. In fact, this will be happiness is the 5th magnitudes of life, right? So number 1 is pretty self-explanatory, right? It's pretty much speak for itself that you simply have a job making a salary, right? So what we want to elevating this to another level is number 2. And this would be having a job, but we also self-employ. And and you will have a business. And this is the 2nd magnitude of life. So there are people who has been in doing their job for many, many years, and then they realize that they overwork and get underpaid. So with enough experience and with enough money saving, they decided to start their own business. They become self-employed and they have a business. So the life of a business owner is a dream of those who only doing their job, who is only having a job, right? Okay, so can you see the uh, the relationship here? And in connecting that to the 9 types of people, namely the talented person and the great master, I am saying this with confidence that a business owner can be a great master to a talented person who is only doing their job. Okay. And you can say this because if you was to own a business, you you start to hire other people who are enjoying doing the same thing that you are doing, and they want to hopefully start their own business one day, and you can help them get to that level by showing them how to be self-employed. All right. And I'm going to go over the 7 magnitude of life very quickly, and then we are going back to discuss the 7 magnitude of life. All right. So the 3rd magnitude of life is business plus profit. It is important to have a profitable business. And when you do that, then the wise man define this as having a career. All right. Just because you are doing your job, it does not mean that you have a career, right? Because you might just doing your job to make money. You might just create your time for money. But until you own your business and you start making profit and you invest heavily into that career path, and it is now officially become a career, right? Just because you start a business, it does not mean that it is profitable, and you might not spend a long time or the rest of your life with that career. So it can't really call career until it is profitable, until you keep in that business. And people who are at the third magnitude of life, and you guessed it right, can be the great master too. The people who are trying to make their business successful. Okay. And we can see this in the example of franchise, a popular franchise to their franchisee. For example, McDonald's, they are very profitable and they can help their franchisee to start their business. But that business might not be profitable. So they can help their franchisee a business to becoming profitable. Right. And then the fourth one is when you have a career and then you invest a lot of time and money in there and you see the maturity in yourself and in your business maturity, and that you can officially call it a success. And this is part of the reason that people said success doesn't come easy, because a proper path to success gotta go through these four magnitude of life, right? You gotta be able to start a business with the thing that you love. It's have got to be profitable, and most importantly, you have to mature from that career, and that is the definition of success. And if you were to make an observation to everyone around us, most people, if they are lucky, they will find success in life, right? But just because they have success, it does not mean that they are happy. So often, when people get to a success level of their life or their career, they often feel lost if they don't have a high and being in a higher purpose in life. And I have seen the case of many, many people who are very, very successful in their 20s, in their 30s. They reach to the peak of success and they simply lost it. They just didn't have any other meaning, other purpose to go in after, and they are very, very lost. So this take us to point number 5, which is a very, very important magnitude of life in which we are all going on this journey. Okay. So at the 5th magnitude of life, we have success plus good health plus family, family harmony. And this is happiness. Okay, some different one. Make sure that we can write the word happiness properly. Happiness. Okay. So just because you are successful at your career at your business, it does not mean that you are happy. In fact, most successful people need help to find their happiness. And in many, many cases, a successful person, a person with money, when they retire, they are not necessarily having good health. And oftentimes they spend too much time at work, too much time on their career, that they didn't spend enough time with family and loved one, and they didn't have that family harmony, right? So happiness in this sense is actually very simple. You are successful at your career, you find something that you love, you make good money off of it, you grow as a person from your career. And not only that, you find good health in what you are doing, and your family support your career, not just for the money. They support your career because of many, many other elements. For example, they can see how much love you have to your career, of how your career can give you good health, right? Both physically and mentally. So success plus good health plus family harmony will be equal happiness. All right. And unfortunately, most people that I have seen, most people that I have made my observation, they they just don't even know where to find happiness. And there are two more magnitude of life, and I want you to take a minute to think about what those two remaining magnitude of life is. All right. And of course, I'm learning this from many, many wise and successful great master that I have learned from. And they have achieved successful career. They make good money, right? They learn how to maintain a good health, and they know how to keep their family happy, and they find true happiness in life. And of course, there are two other magnitude of life, and I think um, you are guessing it right. The next one will be the sixth magnitude, and that is happiness plus helping other be happy, helping others be happy. This pen is running out of ink on me. And this is equal the meaning of life. All right. Have you ever asked yourself what is the meaning of life? Like, why are we here on this earth, on this planet? Well, the sixth magnitude of life tell us that the meaning of life is being happy and help other being happy, because we all deserve to be happy, right? It is very, very powerful, because what is the point of being happy by yourself, right? What is the meaning of having a successful career when you are doing it yourself, when you have no other who can understand what you have been through? And when you know what true happiness is, you would want to help others to achieving it. So the sixth magnitude of life is a very, very top of the uh, the magnitude of life. Right? And one of my mentors told me that after after you ate the most delicious food, after you travel the world and enjoy all of the luxurious hotel and vacation, it is only important of who you are with, the people that you are spending time with. So happiness is is similar in that way. It's no longer important that you are happy. It is important that people around you are happy. And that is the meaning of life. That is the purpose of life. And last but not least, the seventh magnitude of life. And that is meaning of life plus disseminate, as in we're disseminating this idea, the meaning of life, spread it out to every corner of the world. Disseminate. That will be equal culture. We want to build a culture. And there's a famous saying, and that quote is, success is hard to copy. It is hard to copy other people's success. But culture is simple to disseminate. So if you reach the pinnacle of success in life where you are making good money, where you are having good health, have family harmony, where you are success, where you are happy and you are helping other people happy, and you disseminate that, you will build a beautiful culture that can be copied, that can be spread out. And these are the seven magnitude of life. Anyone in this world, it does not matter how much money that they are making. If they don't have good health and family harmony, that will be meaningless. They won't be happy. And if they simply be happy by themselves, they can feel this void in their heart of how other people around them who are still suffering. So they got to help other people. And that is the meaning of life, helping other people being happy and then disseminate this value, right? To share this culture with the world. And you, my friend, are now living at seven magnitude of life. This is exactly why we are doing this, right? Not only from the WIT community, but also for the happiness study community. Because believe it or not, you are working on the seventh magnitudes of life. There are people out there who have a good job, build a successful business, building a successful career for themselves, right? And they will spend many decades to make it happen. And then later in their life, in their 60 and 70, they realize that they don't have good health anymore. They don't even have a family harmony. And they stuck there. They struggle of finding happiness. And for those who find happiness, they don't know what to do, how to help other people find happiness. But we can do it, right? We have happiness study, which is happiness backed by science. We can actually help other be happy. And we can disseminate these idea, these method. We can make it a culture of the world where everyone can find happiness. And we don't have to spend 50 years, for example, to do it. We can do it right now. And this is why you see me spending almost each and every day on this, because believe it or not, I am working on the seventh magnitude of life, which money cannot buy. And by connecting this with the relationship, in fact, this is a great relationship between the great master and a talented person, because the great master can help a talented person realize each of the magnitude of life that they can achieve, right? And looking at this, I can see the milestone that I would like to do for my children. Right? Of course, I will help them aim toward the seventh magnitude of life. But if I were to do it step by step, I would help them find a good job. I would teach them how to be truly a self-employed so that they can start a business, so that they can make it profitable and have a career. And then they can become mature with that career and make that career a successful one. I will help them find good health, family harmony, to find their own happiness. And then I will tell them the importance of helping others be happy so they can have a realization of their meaning of life. And once they have found the meaning of life, I will encourage them to disseminate that energy, that information, so they can be part of a beautiful, beautiful culture. And believe it or not, when you look at this seven magnitude of life, when you look at people around you, you will know exactly where they are at in this. And it does not matter if they are a multi-millionaire or even a billionaire. If they don't have good health, if they don't have that family harmony, believe me, they don't have true happiness. And if they have the fifth magnitude of life, if they have happiness and they don't know how to help others be happy, then they haven't found the true meaning of life yet. And then the seventh one is the very special one. So before I'm going further into the discussion, I would like to hear what you think, what you have to say on what I have presented so far. So feel free to raise your hand. And of course, if you have any question regarding um, seven magnitude of life or the great master, I can help answer that question as well. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. Well, oh yeah, you can type on the chat as well. Hey Giovanni, let's see Giovanni open his camera. Would you like to share your thought?
Hey Ben, can you hear me good?
Yes, perfect.
All right, so uh yeah, just got my notes here, so I'm just trying to make sense of it because this is a lot of really good information. I feel like going deep into this could be a whole week in itself. Um what I wrote here is that the big difference between like a great master and an enlightened person, well, the similarity is that they both, the great master and the enlightened person, they guide people, they teach people, and they inspire people. Okay, so that's what they do similar. The biggest difference, I would say, is that the great master deals more with the material, where the enlightened person deals with the immaterial. Okay, so I also wrote here that a great master, they build their reputation, um, through working, through jobs, through having a career, through their success, through innovation, through contributing, I want to say, to a specific field, right? Let's just call it that. They have technical expertise in a field, okay? Um, and this is built over time. Enlightened person, um, they build their understanding of the nature of work. So there's a big difference between building like a reputation and trying to understand the nature of work. Um, and they also contribute to the growth of humanity. Okay, so one contributes to a specific field which can help humanity in the long run, and then the enlightened person only focuses on the human part of it. Um, and they build off of personal expertise. So these are people who take they improve themselves first through spiritual practices like meditation, self-reflection, even detachment from material things, right? Whereas the great master, they improve through mentoring people. um they improve through they practice in their specific field, and they also learn through their experience. Now the biggest difference when it comes to happiness, right, is that yes, a great master can be happy, can find happiness through their success, first having a job, then turning that job into possibly a business, maybe a career, and then having success, and then finding happiness. Okay. Whereas the enlightened person really doesn't need a job. Um, you know, they can go straight from not having a job to finding happiness. Okay. The biggest difference is, let's say if the great master, um, something was taken away, something material was taken away from them, right? And I think of Ram Dass. So Ram Dass was a spiritual teacher. He basically was, I want to say, I think he was a psychologist, um, before anything. And he was is like in the 1960s, and he was doing a lot of work with LSD, and that was looked down upon basically in that field at the time. So they, he was working for like Yale and some other big universities, but they pretty much kicked him out. Okay, so this is a guy who was a great master in his field, who contributed so much in his field. Okay, was kicked out, went to India in the 1960s, and became an enlightened being, where now no one could take away his happiness. So yes, these are two roads to happiness, but you have to pick one, and you have to choose one to see which one's more meaningful to you, because the meaning of life, the purpose of life, I want to say, is to give life meaning, and we give life meaning. So either do you want to find happiness in things that can be taken away, or do you want to find happiness, in inner peace, in being self-aware, where no one can take that away from you. Neither is good, neither is bad. There's just two roads that lead you to happiness. Either you keep trying to find happiness, or you do everything you can now to reach the ultimate happiness, which no one could take away. So I thought that was kind of pretty interesting concept in my head. So
Well, beautiful. Thanks for sharing your thought. Of course, your role in this journey is very important because you brought in the Western point of view, and you also study Eastern culture and teaching. It's awesome to see you tie that together. And you make a very good point of the connection between the great master and the enlightened teacher. In fact, all nine types of people here are very interconnected, as we discussed in the previous three session. Especially, we can see that a wise person, is someone who had wisdom because they will be able to give us lesson, something that we can stand above any problem that would arise in our life. So why person has got to have wisdom, which is one of the seven holistic wealth. And then we have a noble person, which is who is someone that help us in some aspect or period of our life, and they have the characteristic of nobility. So they have to have wisdom, and then they also have the nobility to help us in some aspect or a period of our life. And then we also have a well-connected person who is having all three: wisdom, nobility, and presence, so that they can build connection with many quality people in their life, and they share that connection with us. And we also discuss a blessed person who is having wisdom, nobility, presence, and virtue. So it might look like they are not doing anything when they are around you. But when they are around you, everything seem to work out just fine. In Asia culture, we have often have a movie or TV series where like a king of a kingdom would dress in like a normal everyday Joe, an average person, to walk around his kingdom, and because of his presence, because of his hidden power, he was able to help newfound friend that he find in his journey, and he was able to help them without they even realize who he was. So to me, a blessed person is kind of like that. It's not like they are not doing anything. It's just the stuff that they are doing to help us, to assist us, is beyond our understanding. So by having wisdom, nobility, present, and virtual, those are huge. And then we move on to a talented person who is working all seven of these elements. In happiness study, we can say that a talented person is working on all five of the element of spiritual well-being, physical well-being, intellectual well-being, relational well-being, and emotional well-being. And then we have the great master who had done the work, and he can help nurture a talented person. So this is actually a growth process that we want to be the nine kinds of people. We want to be nine in one. And in order to be nine in one, we have to be able to recognize these nine type of people in our life, so that we can learn from them, so that we can get assistance from them, and we can become them. And this is the reason that all nine people are interconnected. And the moment that you realize who they are, or who you are going to become in this journey, you will gain great wisdom, nobility, presence, virtue, capability, physique, and material wealth in this life. And I also like how you pointed out the material world and the immaterial world, because I guess the best way to explain this is the Western view on happiness and Eastern view on happiness, roughly 50 or 100 years ago. So the Western point of view is that if a person um, who is making good money, then who having great material life, which is including good health and family harmony, that would be the definition of happiness. So Western country would focus on how to increase the resident, the civilians income, but there are other level of happiness, different pathway to happiness, as Giovanni mentioned earlier, in the inner self, inner well-being, in happiness of the Eastern point of view. where they would focus more on the immaterial world, on wisdom, for example, right? On nobility and on presence, on inner peace, and they become enlightened teacher, and they would focus on helping other be happy. So those are the two pathway.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like that is incomplete. It does not matter which way you choose. For me, happiness has got to be whole being, right? Happiness, whole being. You have got to have the opportunity to experience the beautiful thing in this life in a
Mhm.
material sense and immaterial sense. So by going on this journey, uh, finding the summit of happiness, this is a pathway to become nine in one so that we can gain wisdom, nobility, presence, virtue, capability, physique, and material wealth. And also, by recognizing this, we can help an average everyday person or people out there to find a pathway to get to the summit of happiness. Because just looking at this, they know exactly where they are. Just like what Jasmine said earlier in the chat. Like looking at this, you know right away that she is on the second magnitude of life, where she is self-employed. She is having her business. But if she can just find a great master who can help her business become profitable, then she can move up to a career path. So understanding this is simple to just find a great master to help you move up to each of the magnitude of life. Better yet, once you understand this seven magnitude of life, you can aim toward the seven magnitude of life. And then understanding the nine type of people, you will start to recognize and attract these nine type of people in your life, and they will help you move up to each of these magnitude of life very
Mhm.
simply. And feel free to share.
No, I just wanted to say here that when it comes to and you can go to the seven magnitudes of life, but to reach each step here, there's only one universal law that we have to think of, okay, that will get you to each step. You know what that law is?
What is it?
It's the law of balance. Everything has to be balanced. Um, and when you balance everything, you're becoming even with the karma, which allows you to enjoy the life that you are creating in the present moment. Um, that's if we just learn how important the law of balance is in our life, it'll solve so many problems. Balance is the key to everything. Above all is balance.
What balance is a right? Sometimes I forget the spelling. Yeah. And you said this is a universal law, right?
Yeah, that's the universal law. That's the only law that we should be concerned about. I mean, if you think about, if you want to love properly, you have to have balance when it comes to love, right? You can't go to either extreme. Too much of anything is not good for us. So balance is the key to everything in life. And the purpose of life is to find what balance is for us individually. And it takes experiences. We're gonna fail, but you're gonna learn through that failure. It doesn't mean that you are a failure, it just means that you're closer to, succeeding,
Mhm.
you know. And balance is the key.
Well, I agree 100%. And it's easier said than done, but it is true that we want to lean toward being balanced.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you're right. It is easier said than done. I mean, if it was easier to do, we wouldn't be teaching this right now. You know, the
mhm,
reason why we're teaching this is because it's hard to do. It's hard to find the right balance, right? But I promise people that if you go out seeking for balance, you will find what balance means to you. You will lose a lot of things, just like when you go into that house, it's going to be dark. But in trying to find balance, you're searching for your truth, and you can become a great master who is also enlightened, like Ram Dass. It doesn't have to be either or. You know, the choice is yours. If you want to be a great master and be enlightened, that requires extreme balance in your life, both in the material world and in the immaterial world.
mhm. So what would you say to someone like Elon Musk, for example? He had tremendous success, right? Anything he touched turned into gold. He seemed to be pretty happy. He seemed to be in good shape, and he seemed to have a family harmony. But then when people ask him, uh, what would it be like to be like him, to be like Elon, he'd say that you don't want to be him. But he tell people that they don't want to be him because he just can't turn it off. He just can't stop thinking. And you would hear story of how he would work like 80 to 100 hours a week. It seemed pretty imbalanced to me, but the guy is pretty happy.
Well, he appears happy, right?
Mhm.
But obviously, he's trying to find something that he does not have yet. He keeps, creating and keeps innovating. Um, there's a certain goal in his head, but everything that he touches is just a means to that end. It's not the end yet. So, yes, he's a great master, but he's not yet enlightened. And that's what the missing piece is. He has everything in the material world, but he has yet to touch his spiritual side.
Mhm. Yeah. It's a tough question. But one thing that I feel that I am very blessed uh, is that I believe I figured out how to find that balance, right? Because in both WIT and Happiness Studies Academy, we are at the seventh magnitude of life. We chose a pathway where we can work on our successful career, and then we have to keep the balance. We have to practice both physically and mentally to maintain good health, and then we have all of these knowledge, and we can work on keeping a happy family, and then we help others to be happy, and we are disseminating these values. So in a way, I feel like the key to find true happiness is to pick uh, a career path that can help us fulfill all of these elements at the same time. And I'm saying this in contrast to a job that most of us, like Vietnamese Americans, are doing. You probably know this. A lot of Vietnamese American own a nail salon. They make really really good money. One of my best friend would bring in like 2 million dollar in revenue a year. He's living a good life, but what is happening is that he just don't have time for family, and then he has to live in a place where he have to inhale all of the chemicals, so his health is deteriorating. So he find monetary success, but personally, I feel like it's hard for him to find true happiness, and then it's extremely hard for him to help others be happy, and then he can't really disseminate what he is doing. So in short, he is not very balanced, and it's extremely hard for him to turn that moving train in a direction that definitely, most definitely, led to unhappiness. So I feel like the decision that you make on choosing happiness and going after the meaning of life and disseminating this value, that is the way to go, and that is the best way to find balance. And we are doing that, in my opinion. What do
I
you think?
just also, Ben, want to add one thing here that, beyond any material success lies spiritual fulfillment, right? So, um, to measure if Elon is truly happy, right? Um, it seems like he's constantly innovating things, to redefine happiness in his life, right? What happens if everything is taken from him? Then what? Most people in that situation, in that high of a, we put people on a high pedestal, okay? And if you take the pedestal out, they fall, they come crashing down. A lot of them commit suicide, because of it, because they put their meaning in their things, right? So a great master can fall if you take away all the material stuff. But, if Elon Musk turned to, let's say, to try to find his inner harmony, right? Which is like the bedrock to enduring success. To make sure that you're always going to be successful, you have to have this inner balance, this inner knowingness about you, this inner peace that if everything was stripped away from you, you would still feel the same because you're not attached to anything. And that's the key, is to find the balance, which means to become detached. It doesn't mean that you don't have to have things. A spiritual life doesn't mean you can't enjoy things of this life. It just means you're just not attaching yourself to that. Your meaning is not in those things. Your meaning is comes from within.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a big topic. And of course, we are discussing the the highest of the high, right? Yeah, the great master and the talented person or talented people. And discussing these two type of people, we are discussing the seven magnitude of life. We are discussing the seven holistic wealth, which will take a lifetime to realize. So, but lucky for us though, we at least we know what to do. We know what to cultivate, and we know how to learn for. And I can't really see a comment on Facebook. I can see that there are some followers, but you can feel free to have your question on Facebook as well. This is live on Facebook, and thank you for joining us. And going back to this topic, I hope that you understand the importance of a talented person and a great master, of how we are going toward the summit, the very top of the mountain, uh, happiness and well-being. And we don't have to wait for when we turn 60, 70 to accumulate all of this wisdom. We can just learn from the people, the fellow journeyers that have went ahead of us for many, many decades. And this is what they have passed down to us. And I felt extremely blessed that we are having this roadmap. And just to going back to the great master, we can define the great master is someone who is fulfilling these two seven elements, the seven holistic wealth and the seven magnitude of life. They have mastered this, and they are willing to nurture the talented person. So by knowing this, how should we interact with the master? We should uh, we should share a mission with them. We would share the end goal with them, so we can learn from them, right? Because a great master is someone who agree to nurture us, to helping us. And if you can find a great master, then it is a blessing, and you became each other fellow journeyer, so journeying together with the great master to realize our dream with the great master, because we know that the great master have big dream, and the great master understand the meaning of life, helping others to be happy. So we know that a great master will eventually materialize all seven magnitude of life. A great master would master all seven elements of the seven holistic wealth. So it is a blessing to be a part of that. And in order to attract a great master, we want to be a talented person, because a talented person can assist a great master realize their dream. So in order to attract a great master to come to your life, you want to cultivate the 8 characteristic of a talented person, which we discussed last week, right? And these 8 characteristic, there's no order, even though I write 8 here, but just a quick review on what we did last week. We want to work on, we want to be able to contribute to our great master. We have to show effort, and this might not be easy. So we gotta have persistence, right? And then we have to have commitment to learn so that we can grow. We have to have the courage to admit mistakes so we can change. And once we learn all of the important lesson from the great master, it is important that we have gratitude. And once we have cultivate the wonderful characteristic, we need to be humble. We need to have humility. Extremely, extremely important. So if you can demonstrate that you are having these 8 characteristics, or at least have the potential to have these 8 characteristics, you will be able to attract a great master in your life. And that is a huge blessing. And you might have heard that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. In this case, you can say that when a talented person is ready, the great master will come. And it is a big blessing. So I hope that you understand the importance of working on yourself. If you can work on yourself, or even like help your children work on themselves, extremely, extremely important to encourage them to work on these 8 characteristics. Anyone who can cultivate and work on these 8 characteristics, they can be very, very talented. Very, very cool. All right. So becoming, last but not least, becoming the great master is simple because we have introduced this. I know I'm saying it half jokingly, because to becoming a great master, you have to cultivate all 7 of these holistic wealth. You have got to materialize all 7 magnitude of life, right? You have to walk the walk and talk the talk of the 7 magnitude of life. You have got to be happiness. And each and every one of us, in one way or another, we are going on this journey. And when we have a clear roadmap of where we are and where we are going, it is simple for us to fulfill these 7 holistic wealth as we moving up each of this magnitude of life. So as Jasmine mentioned earlier, of how she was able to point it out that she is still working on the second magnitude of life. And there is key to each and every one of this, right? So most people stuck at the job, the job. And the key of it is right here, is salary. Some people don't even have a job, right? Because they might doing a volunteer job, but they are not making money, or they're not making the income that they wanted to have. So that is not even a job. And I have helped my cousin, my younger cousin, after graduation to find a job, to find a good paying job. So if you know someone, or if you are helping someone to find a job, gotta make sure they find a good salary. And then just imagine that we are a great master to our children, or to our mentee, right? When we are a mentor to someone, then by recognizing where they are, we can actually help them moving up. For example, Jacqueline said that she is on the second magnitude of life. So the key here is that self-employed, right? Having a job and being self-employed, and that is a business. Now, the word self-employed here is very, very powerful. So I want to discuss this a little bit. Just because you have your own business, it does not mean that you are self-employed. I know this because I was there, right? There was time that I had a business, but I gave up on my business. So there was no self-employed there. I didn't really work hard to to grow my business. I was lazy. So self-employed have a huge meaning, have a different meaning than just owning a business. Self-employed can mean that you are responsible for that job. You make a conscious decision that you will do your best to fulfill that position. So you don't have to have your own business to be self-employed. You can work for someone else and still be self-employed in that business. And this is a concept of a number two or number three, sometimes a number five in the company, right? Just because you are, let's say, a number five in the company, you are not the owner, not the creator of that company. But if you can be a number five in that company, you can find tremendous success. For example, everyone in Microsoft will take part in building Microsoft early on. They are all billionaire. Okay. They doesn't have to be a number one guy like Bill Gates. They can be a number two guy and they find success. They can be a number five guy. But they work hard, they truly becoming a self-employer at work, so that the higher up can recognize their talent and their effort. So you don't have to start your own business to be self-employed. In fact, those who work really hard on their career and show it to their boss that they are capable, and they take full responsibility to grow the company. They see the company that they work for as their own company and not a job, not a job. They can be very, very successful with their business. And trust me, when you truly take responsibility and be self-employed, eventually you will find a proper position in that company. Let's take UFC, for example. Dana White is one of the most powerful success story that I have heard of. He loved his job in USC early on, and he worked so hard for it. he worked as if that is his own company. So eventually, the founder of UFC didn't see the potential and eventually gave up on the company, sold it to Dana White and two of his friends, right? So eventually, by loving that business, by self-employ himself to that business, finding the investor, invest a lot of time, effort, money into UFC. Dana White now is a public figure for UFC, even though he is not an owner of the UFC. I don't think I believe he sold that, but he is still the president of the UFC. That is a difference between a true self-employed with a person who simply owns a business. So if you can help others to understand just the word self-employed, they can most definitely change their life. Eventually, they will turn that business profitable. They will build a career for themselves, and they will grow with the business, just like uh, what Dana White did to find his success. And then the remaining would be finding good health, spend time with your family and loved one. That is when you find happiness. Show others how to do it. You fulfilling the meaning of life and then disseminate it. You find culture. And this is why I appreciate the nine type of people in my life so much, namely the WIT organization, HSA, Happiness Study Academy, because what they provided is so valuable beyond anyone's imagination. Because believe it or not, you might not see the money at this time, right? But they are working on the seventh magnitude of life. And this is special. Only people who are there can recognize this. And I can see why successful people like Dr. Tapan Shah and his best friend, President Yuval Kut, they found their success in other fields, but they have spent a lot of time, effort, and money on this project. I am doing the same thing. My mentors are doing the same thing. They recognize the importance of living life at the seventh magnitude, because when you are doing that, everything else will follow. You start at the end, right? Finding happiness in your path to the highest magnitude of life. And believe me, that is what all successful people did. We had a discussion earlier on Elon Musk, but believe it or not, he is aiming toward the seventh magnitude of life too. So he might look like he is suffering, but he is not in pain. That's why you see him laugh so much. He work hard, but that is what he loved, right? He sees something that other people couldn't. And I'm sure that's give him great purpose, great meaning in this life. And we are all here for a reason. We have a part to play. I'm playing my part, and I'm very happy that I have the opportunity to do that. And somehow you are on this Zoom call right now, right? Listening to me sharing this discussion. So I'm sure it has got to have some meaning. And before I open to discussion, I just want to point out the importance of each of these steps. It is very simple. For the first magnitude, focus on salary. For the second one, focus on self-employed. And similarly, the third one, focus on profit. The fourth, focus on maturity. If you work on the fifth magnitude, focus on good health and family harmony. And then if you are happy already, and help other be happy. And if you are doing all of that already and find a way to disseminate that value. And I believe this is what happiness studies academies are doing, which is what WIT is doing. And the ultimate end is a culture, a very special culture. And believe it or not, we are all sharing this culture. And the teaching has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years, if not million, if not billion. Thanks to all of the great master before us, we have the blueprints to maximize our experience. And just like what Giovanni said earlier, the key to it all is balance, right? In this chaotic world, it's only appear to be chaotic, but this world is actually very balanced. It is us who might not be very balanced, but once we start working on this, it is simple to materialize any magnitude of life. With that, we have about 8 minutes left. Feel free to share before we end this discussion. And of course, we will have see each other again next week. Yeah, this is gonna be a long discussion on the night tied up people.
I do, hey Ben, I just want to add one thing here, just so people could kind of think about this aspect too, is that when you have a job and you're paid a salary, what you're exchanging is you're exchanging your time, right, for a certain amount of money. But also what you're doing is you're limiting yourself on your happiness. You're not really finding your meaning of life. You're limiting your own success because now, your time is spent making someone else more money. Okay. When you have a business or you become self-employed, once you gained enough skills, you can now, instead of trading your time, you can charge for your experience now, which is the value that you give to yourself for all the time it took you to become a professional in whatever field you choose. That includes all your failures, that includes all your losses, it includes everything. You combine all of that, and now you can charge properly for something that you do value, and you have more time, to invest in other things such as helping other people, your health, your family, and eventually, the culture as a whole too. So.
Yep, super important. And you know what? I'm gonna share with you and everyone the secret, right? The secret, well, it's not really a secret. You said it earlier. Having balance. But the only way for us to have balance is to work on all of this at the same time. Okay. Often people might think that, oh, I need to work on my physical health. I need to work on my spiritual well-being or relational well-being or emotional well-being or intellectual well-being. Well, the truth is everything is interconnected. So you make the conscious decision to work on all of it at the same time. That is the only way to go, right? And this might be difficult for everyone to comprehend, right? Like how can I doing a good job and business and a career and finding success, finding happiness, meaning of life and spreading out culture all at the same time? We do. We gotta see the full picture. All successful people are doing it all at the same time. Similarly, the seven holistic wealth, everything is interconnected. It is pretty difficult if you want to elevate your wisdom or your nobility or your present or even your virtue or capability. But once you work on all 7 of this at the same time, it's become easier. It's becoming simpler. And this is why you see that there are a lot of college students. They work hard on their capability. And then when they graduated, they couldn't find a job because they didn't have that communication skill. They don't have that street smart as people put it. So the golden key here is to work on all of this at the same time, right? If you using the SPIRE model, you better work on all 5 elements: spiritual well-being, physical well-being, intellectual well-being, relational well-being, and emotional well-being at the same time. You can't be working on relational well-being and then you are mad and upset all the time because believe it or not, that's going to drag your relational well-being down. Similarly for every other element. So you cannot just focus on one and neglecting other, because other element will drag whatever you are working on. So you have to make a conscious decision to work on all of this at the same time, being the 9 type of people at the same time, working on the 7 holistic well at the same time. Most importantly, working on the 7 magnitude of life at the same time. And I will prove that to you. I'm going to tell you a very special story that I heard of Elon Musk recently, right? It came out of the news. I heard of it like a couple of weeks ago. So looking at Elon Musk, people might think that he is no longer having a job, right? A job, where he is going to work to get a salary, right? Some people might argue that he is not doing that anymore because he already have a successful business. He is having a successful career. He is already happy. He is already helping other people be happy. And he already disseminating this meaning of life. But the truth is he still is doing his job. And one of the craziest success stories that I ever heard from Elon recently is that in 2008, when Tesla wasn't doing very well, right? Everybody pretty much like talk trash about Tesla, and the shareholder are not very happy. So Elon had a meeting with all of the shareholder, and he said that he can turn this thing around. He can make Tesla very, very successful. And the number that he offered to all shareholders is that he is going to increase the value of Tesla 10 times of what it was in 2018. Can you imagine? Can you imagine increase the value of a company tenfold? And Tesla was already big then. All right. So he make an agreement with all the shareholders. They are very happy, Elon, if you can increase the company tenfold, we're gonna pay you a certain percentage, because if you're not doing that, we are not making money. In fact, everybody is losing money. So they signed that contract. Elon started working on it. He started pushing production. He introduced the Tesla Cybertruck in 2019, increased the hype, producing Tesla Model 3, introducing Tesla Model Y. Sales was going crazy, and the company grew during COVID. And there's one point that Tesla value is even higher than Toyota, like way higher. And I think at one point, Elon Musk, I think he hit near like either 800 billion or 400 billion to a trillionaire. And pretty much everything he said come true. And he did a good job, like a really, really good job. He went to work, he make a salary, and can you guess like what is the number for his salary? Okay, so in the agreement, he make that happen. All the shareholder agree to it, and everybody want to pay Elon, but because Tesla registered their company in Delaware, and somehow the government got involved and they stopped that transaction, and that transaction worth $65 billion with a B, right? Not even with an M like million. This is $65 billion with a B. So imagine doing a job that paying that much. Elon is the first I have heard. And he was able to do that because he is very self-employed. He took pride in what he do. And I'm going to tell you this, the secret to all seven of this is self-employed. When you take responsibility for everything that you do, it's simpler to do a good job, simpler to start a successful business. It's simpler to find profit in your career, find maturity in your success, and every other beautiful thing that we have in life. So I went over a minute, so I'm gonna play a song and we say bye. But unless Giovanni want to say something, feel free to share that quickly. If not, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a very important topic, and I hope you get some value off from it. And once again, thank you so much for joining us on this journey, and I will see you next week. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm
Thank you,
gonna play a
guys.
song. See you next time. Thank you, Giovanni.